Hey everyone, Boulevard here. Wanted to bring you a quick update about Duels of Runeterra, as there was an announcement earlier this afternoon, and just in case you guys missed it, I kind of wanted to tell you what it was, as well as explain how that affects me, how that affects you, and how it affects my content. So first I'm going to read you guys the announcement. Now that the weekend is over, here is the changes to the format for Duels of Runeterra 11. This format will mirror the ideal format that Riot themselves have used in their events, and we feel that as the premier Legends of Runeterra grassroots tournament, we should match that vision. Without further ado, here is the change for next Duels of Runeterra. We will be moving from a 3-deck 1-ban best of 3 to a 3-deck no-ban best of 5. The no-ban is the most important part. You will have to master all of your decks and be capable of handling sets against all of your opponent's decks. The match timer will be extended from around 60 to 70 minutes to 90 to 100 minutes. Even though you are playing 2 extra matches, hopefully not doing bans will make up for this time. We will be moving from 8 to 9 rounds of Swiss into top 16 to 7-8 rounds of Swiss into top 8. This will compensate for the more time for each round, with a best of 5 allowing much more consistency than a best of 3. We also feel more comfortable lowering the top cut as well. This also means that if you make the cutoff, you are in the money. No more getting 8-0 in Swiss and then getting $0 to show for losing in the first round of top cut. We will also have to adjust the schedules for North America and Europe back to account for the 1 to 2 hours extra that will be run every day. We will update you on the timer closer to Duels of Runeterra 11. This might be a sudden format change for all, however, I wanted to move the format closer to what Riot official tournaments might look like, example being the Riot Korea Invitational that employed the same format. This might be the format that Duels of Runeterra uses if we're going to get funding for a Duels of Runeterra Rising Tides Championship Invitational in August. Might is the keyword. Although the format is a bit longer, it will be more competitive and emphasize mastery of all of Runeterra. See you all in 2 weeks. So first off, how does it affect me? Easily. It really doesn't. I'm a freelance caster. I work with Duels of Runeterra a lot. I love working with them, and it's just going to give me a little bit more fun as a caster. I have a wider variety of decks to cast, and that's always a good time for me. The extra length of the tournament doesn't really make a difference to me. I have stamina like a racehorse. This affects you in a few ways. You're going to have to set aside a little bit more time, the top cut is a little bit more competitive, and you have to think a lot more about your lineups, which is how this affects my content. So my content is all tournament-based because that's what I like doing, and if other tournaments don't follow suit in changing the format, then I might either have to start gearing specific tournament tacticians for each separate format and making multiple of those a week, or I'm going to have to gear each week's tournament tactician toward whatever the biggest grassroots tournament that weekend is running as their format. But if I'm going to continue with the mindset of taking casting seriously, I need to stay up to date on all formats anyway, and this will help me do that. I'll have to keep updated tier lists for each one as well, but as I said, it helps me stay in the know. As for how it affects the actual meta, it's impossible to say. Lineups that I've praised in the past for their versatility like Spooky Karma, Frostbite Ezreal, and Scouts have a little less appeal since you're no longer playing ban mind games. The strength of the actual lineup isn't really impacted. It does get a little bit tricky on lineups that try to target a specific deck in your opponent's lineup, but I'll get into that a little bit later, perhaps in a separate video. Assuming you and your opponent both brought broken must-ban decks, you're kind of just going through the formalities of beating each other with these. This would impact your decision on which to bring between Karma Ezreal and Heimer Vi, except... So today is June 14th, which means the next Duels of Runeterra is June 27th. The problem is that on June 24th, we will be having another major balance update as well as a ladder reset. So Heimer Vi is probably going to be reduced in power level, as is Karma Ezreal, as are a lot of things. And until I actually see what that patch contains, it's impossible for me to tell you specifically how the meta is going to be impacted. What I can tell you is that moving from a best of 3 ban to a best of 3 no ban does impact a couple of things baseline. Number one, it affects decks that try to target out one specific deck. If you're bringing a 3 aggro lineup trying to pick on your opponent's Heimer Vi, you have one more chance to stumble on that. We've seen this strategy not work out for people in the past. So if you open with an aggro deck and they body you with their other 2 decks first, and then it's down to just your 3 decks and the Heimer Vi only has to beat one of those decks, and the set is cut and dry. It's a little bit riskier to do things like that now because they have that additional chance to beat your deck. And as they said, maybe you're going to have to take these a little bit more seriously. They're reducing the number of rounds, they're reducing the amount of people in top cut. You're going to have to practice a little bit more. Potentially. I'm not saying you have to start a team and, push out content with them and devote your entire week to Legends of Runeterra, because let's be honest, at the end of the day, this is a $200 tournament that runs every other week. That's really not a lot of money when it comes to tournament winnings. I'm not saying you have to devote your entire week to this, but, maybe put a little bit more effort in. Grab a couple of friends, say, hey, let's test this for an hour a night, or there's a couple of channels and a couple of Discord servers that are specifically there to find testing partners. And of course, my content is not going anywhere. I literally make Tournament Tactician for people who don't follow the tournament scene or don't have the time to test lineups, so that 2 hours before the tournament you can watch a short video and get acclimated with the meta, run a couple test games, and have a decent shot at topping the event. At the risk of getting too preachy or just running on too long, I'm going to cut it off here. I just wanted to bring you guys' attention to this massive shift in format for Duels of Runeterra, and kind of remind everybody that there is going to be a balance patch between now and the next Duels of Runeterra. So until then, my name is Boulevard. Good luck.